Hey, this is a recap of my experience over the last day and a bit. Um, I'll start off with what happened yesterday. I was attending a gymnastics practice, and during warm up, I rolled my foot. Probably the worst that's ever happened to me. And I think this may have been the worst injury that's ever happened to me ever. So it was interesting to definitely find a limit of where I'm at with dealing with that kind of stuff, that kind of pain, that kind of uh, doubt, that kind of distraughtness, everything that is associated with it. Um, Today I woke up, I couldn't put weight on it at all. I woke up in the middle of the day, I slept in, I knew I was going to sleep in. I did that intentionally so I could get the rest. And I felt alone, I felt distraught, I felt trapped, I felt horrible when I woke up, and I couldn't put my weight on this foot, and it's swollen, and I can't move, and I like to move, and just being confined to small movements and limited everything. Like, my entire life felt limited. It was horrible. And it took me about 2 hours before I was really even able to do anything. I didn't even feel like I didn't even have the motivation to get myself breakfast. That's how bad this was. And it slowly started to dissipate. I'd look out the window, and I had to train today, and I was thinking, oh, how am I going to get there? I can't even put weight on this. I'm looking around my room, and I have a wooden sword that I can maybe use as a crutch to get myself somewhere, or otherwise I'm hopping on one foot the entire way to the gym. And I keep looking out and thinking, oh, but you know what? Somebody, like a true athlete, a person who really wants this, they would do that. They would do just that. And I ignored that. I'm like, that's not going to happen right away. And I slowly started to do the small things, and that's where things started to turn around. I went and got myself my bowl, my cereal, and started going through the motions of a regular day, minus the hopping around. And I started looking at my list of what things I needed to do school-wise and how I had that broken down already. It's already automated and regulated um, by strategy I've just thought through ahead of time. And I start eating, and I start going, you know what, last night I was able to get down the stairs and wash my dishes. I'm going to let this sit for a bit, and when I'm ready, I will go downstairs again and I will wash dishes. And it wasn't until my Brita water jug actually was emptied before I even did that. But slowly, doing these small things throughout the day, I took charge of the situation, and I was able to get over the impediment of the mentality that I woke up with, really. And I felt more and more prepared to do the gym. And I'd look out with longing, and just my mind, I could feel it trying to figure out more and more ways of how am I going to get there. And eventually, I put weight on my foot. Um, I should also mention that through this whole period, I was icing, I was resting, I was on my back, I was elevating my foot, I was in Epsom salt bath so that all my muscles would relax, and then immediately wrapped it with an ice pack, and then compressed it for about an hour. So I was taking good care of it. I was also doing energy medicine tapping techniques specifically for that. A friend of mine found a protocol for that, and I was using it throughout the day. And at some point, I can't exactly remember when, I put weight on the foot again, and I could stand, and I felt I can get to the gym. I can get to the gym now, and it felt great. I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to actually do this. And I started noticing I could walk more and more. Within my room, I was just, at one point I had a thought in my head, and I was just pacing, thinking about this thought, thinking about this train of thought, really. And I'm sort of caught myself, for about 5 minutes I had just been pacing around my room, hobbling, but pacing, like I hadn't stopped walking. And I'm like, if I can do that, I can definitely get myself to the gym. So to sort of wrap this up, I just got back from the gym. From an early morning of just a horrendous mental state and feeling like I couldn't accomplish anything, it almost felt like I was flayed and my life was unraveling, and all of that stuff just through small little steps of things that I had already implemented into my life that were positive and constructive ways of being. I was able to re-enter that automated sort of system of doing things throughout the day, and it brought me back. And eventually, with all the protocols of icing and elevation, the whole rice concept, I was able to put weight on this foot, and I went to the gym, and it was a great workout. I felt great. I didn't do any leg stuff because obviously I can barely bend, but it was amazing, and it was truly a liberating feeling to have gone from one extreme to pulling it around and then actually going through with what I set out to do. On top of this, I want to share one other sort of aspect of this. I'm a fast walker, so walking slow sucks. It just sucks. It sucks so much. And what usually takes me about 9 minutes to get to the gym took me half an hour. It took me half an hour of walking slowly, hobbling through the same route I always take, which all of a sudden just felt like hell the whole way there. And just every time a new street happened, you'd get this burst of excitement. Oh, I made it this far. And then the next street, you're like, oh, I made it onto the actual street I need to get to. And then you see the building and the same thing. And each little step of the way fueled me to keep going. And it was an amazing experience. And I'm so glad it happened. Not necessarily glad that the injury happened. I don't necessarily want to go out and have this happen again. But the fact that it happened, and I kept going, and I maneuvered through some very strategic thinking how to handle it and how to keep going through it and how to not let it get in my way. That was such a liberating experience. I feel like I have so much energy right now. I can't really even express it in words how awesome this feels. So I felt like sharing that.